I will turn my volume up. I will turn y'all's volume up. Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. And also, welcome to kind of a session 0-ish. We're really just doing a character introduction so that you guys know who's coming to the table on this new Rise of the Runelords. And in that vein of thought... Oh, first, announcements. By the time this goes up, the only announcements that we will probably have are that this is going to be starting up, the Rise of the Runelords, back up where we left off, in conjunction with Black Dragon Gaming. And Adonijah's game will be starting up again. The Misadventures game series will be starting back up again. And he's probably going to bring a new character other than Moon. But if you want him to bring back Moon, you can always put stuff into the comments and I'll let him know. Because he oddly enough considers your comments.
Tommy says bring back Moon.
We will see. We will see. But I believe that's it for us. What about you guys? Anything for you, Tommy?
Well, if you want to come play Final Fantasy with me, we're doing that. I imagine there will only be a couple more weeks before that giveaway is over. I don't know. Three Dragons keeps having weird stuff happen in it, and then I instinctively want to make more dungeons for it because that is my power. But I have to put me, the GM, on the railroad, so that's a new experience. But if you want to, the tech level will be around World War II-ish, so there will be lots of machine guns with non-Vancian magic and planes, and I think Tiki's playing a construct, and Josh wanted me to roll him up a gambler, which apparently, like gambler as in character style, but turns out that's a luck-based class in Final Fantasy that throws cards for value, so hooray for that.
Okay.
And I'm playing the Dark Knight Summoner. I think I'm probably going to be the only one in Melee, but when I get in Melee, I'm going to hurt.
That would give you like 2 more weeks before you change that character concept for the 15th time. I know.
Okay, look. I was having trouble making Aqua just stalled, okay? I built Aqua when I thought we were going mono.
That's fair.
Well, speaking of character campaigns, did you have anything, Jason, before we jump in?
Oh, for the Final Fantasy, if you think he's scary in Melee, wait till you see my character.
No, never mind. I didn't realize we had 2 melee characters. We're good. I'm not just shooting at Ross.
Sword and pistol.
Okay, seems good.
And a rogue, so he'll be sneak attacking.
Nice.
One of the engineers' things is that they can make basically like their own cloak of disguise and whatnot.
Okay.
Or cloak of invisibility, something like that.
I'm definitely very excited for a new meta, though, for sure. I don't know anything about what these classes do, and we're just going to wing it. Actually, I'm not going to wing it. I prepare my things, but it's still really exciting because I'm sure there's going to be something come out that's not like that. I don't know what is. So as a GM, I'm really stoked for that.
Well, I'm
also stoked for Runelords. We're back.
Yes, we are back to Runelords. We may be able to finish it this time since we're halfway. And I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully it won't take us another 70 episodes.
Well, it wasn't a full 70. That was just the numbering scheme. You know, it was like...
Wow.
It was like...
I thought it was like 50. I didn't think
it
we
was
got to
50-something. 50...
It was a lot.
Almost 60. Almost 60 is what it was. It just felt
Next time we'll play an AP that's not so open-ended. That's very railroady.
Well, we may
Stop having inter-party relationships. You have to do the main quest.
Is everybody bringing... Well, I don't guess that would matter in this world setting, but... Inter-party relationships.
I assume everyone present has traditional genitalia?
No strange Tian Sha sex magic?
No Tian Sha sex magic. Doesn't work. Doesn't make any sense. Stop
We did it once, never again.
Never
You
again.
made a Simurg out of it, so that was fun. Spoilers.
They got a deity out of it. But
I just have to say, I called that one right on the head when you pulled out Bestiary. He's like, oh, it's in that one. And then you find a picture of a bird with a fox head.
Technically, Summers have wolf's heads, but that's beside
like
the point.
Fox, though.
Okay.
It's Persian fox.
That's not talking about what we're actually supposed to be talking about. We're supposed to be talking about people's builds that their characters, not just their builds, but their characters that they're bringing So we're going to take it from the person who has an actual picture first, so Kane can explain his.
You take it from the man who got drunk and put a picture up in the Discord.
and then we will go to Tommy, because he's the only one with a name on his. So Kane first, and I will bring the people up your picture that you put into the thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be disappointed.
You have the best characters. Quiet you. I'm here because of your characters.
All right, yeah. My prospective character for this game is Igor Bramblepot. I'm going to be subjecting this entire group to my terrible Russian accent once again. He is a halfling, invulnerable rager barbarian. He has like tight, very, very curly sandalwood brown hair and a big handlebar mustache.
It's amazing. I have the picture up for them. They see.
Yes. He was
hair like Frodo instead of that hair.
Oh yeah.
Shot Frodo's hair on will be good.
Just like.
Get Frodo's wistful eyes on there too.
He was traveling, I guess right before the events of this, he was traveling with the same circus that Magpie was traveling with, quote unquote, before level 1. And I basically, sort of the thing I was going with is I imagine that he wound up traveling with the circus after Magpie had already joined. And he was originally, before even that, part of a group of bandits that had attempted to assault the church. The church, Jesus. The assault.
Well, maybe the church
circus. The circus.
It's the church of the circus god.
The church of the circus god.
What god
so is that Kyrgyz?
Be?
That's not Kyrgyz. No, wrong circus. Who is that even?
That would be
Shaman?
No.
Philistria?
Kyrgyz would be for the strong man. A circus would be
Kyrgyz
pantheistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of get everybody in together and just go.
He's
Just
the
worry
god of
about the guy with the plus 16 cotton candy.
Oh,
yes. That dude will fuck you up.
That's some amazing cotton candy. I'm just saying.
It's the alchemist. He's spitting out his potions in cotton candy form. We're all going to die, but
rot the teeth right out of your head.
Exactly.
It's our dudes wear my toffee game all over again.
Bruh. I shouldn't have pulled my punches with that dragon.
No, you shouldn't have.
I learned my goddamn lesson.
So
anyway,
back to Bramble.
The bandit group he was a part of attempted to roll the circus for some quick money after a particularly successful week in a city as they were leaving. The thing about assaulting a magical circus in a fantasy setting is it's a bad fucking idea.
I've played Shining Force. I know what happens.
Yeah. So they lost hard. And they were given the option because they obviously assaulted. They tried to roll the circus with deadly force, and so they were met in kind. And those who were taken alive were given the choice of indentured servitude with the circus. You travel with us for 4 years or some other indeterminate amount of time, and that's your penance, or you can take your chances with carny justice, which is essentially. We're going to take a gun with 5 chambers and load it with 3 bullets, and we're going to see what happens.
Oh, okay, then. Oh, yeah, and let me guess, they didn't even guarantee how they were going to be shooting it or anything like that.
They were probably very much too inebriated at the time to be able to guarantee it, knowing carny justice.
So,
and you didn't even get the teddy bear.
Yeah, kind of what happened was Magpie sort of... The only one who listened to him when he said, like, "Hey, you should don't take the carny justice, just take the servitude." And he's like, "Why? Why would I do this? Terrible! I told the key, you're just going to treat me like garbage for 40 years. I would rather take my chances with gun." No, you don't understand. The gun only has 1 chamber.
Cool.
Oh.
There you go.
You don't understand. This gun is a musket, and we don't know how revolvers work yet.
Yeah. You will die. Take the service. So there's a little bit of like he feels like he owes Magpie for going out of his way to save his life in that specific scenario. But that's why, like, full stop, he's with the circus is because he was with a bandit group. They tried to roll the circus. It went very poorly. And he ended up agreeing to work with the circus, but it wasn't as simple as that. As I mentioned before, magical circus. I made sure I looked this up beforehand, Adam, to see what level the gas spell is.
Mm-hmm.
And gas or quest, depending on if you're
56, I
arcane,
think.
is only a 6th level spell.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be infeasible, I think, to either get a scroll of it or to have a high level spellcaster, like maybe the ringleader is a high level sorcerer or wizard or something, who could cast it on the people who chose service over musket round to the temple.
Okie dokie.
Which was how they enforced the indentured servitude. And so he already likes Magpie, and he spent a bunch of time around him working at the circus, obviously. And when he wrote the letter back to the circus, and this also happened in game, he wrote a couple letters to the circus. So I'm guessing he wrote another one to them asking them for help during the events of us deciding that we're going to go deal with Nualia. So they offered Egor a deal. We'll like end the rest of your indentured servitude. Like, this will pay off the remaining years right now if you go help. Because Magpie is one of us. So you'd be helping out family.
Gotcha. I can live with that. I can work with that too, because he has information that stuff's going on with Magpie's family, so that may get revealed to the viewers, but not necessarily to Magpie.
Oh man, you really love holding that over my head. At this rate, I'm amazed I got my children back in the previous campaign.
Well, I wasn't gonna kill him right off. It'd have to be in a dramatic, traumatizing.
Off-screen kind of
I was only going to kill them in a dramatic off-screen kind of way that you couldn't stop.
y'all keep giving me a hard time about that. I've only done that once.
Yeah.
So.
And apparently Kane's very upset about it.
I'm just let me be salty, okay?
Well, I don't think you need my permission for that. You salty all the time.
Yeah,
it's all that beer and sauerkraut.
Oh God, I love sauerkraut.
I do too.
So okay. Jason sent me a pic, but I said we were going to Skoros of Sandpoint, which is going to be Tommy's character. We'll do Jason
I'm actually really
after
excited
that.
for it. I'm really excited for it for like 17 different reasons. One of them, I'm not going to lie, is I'm really glad to be back with you guys, and I'm back to finish Rise of the Runelords. Because I did the same thing with Lord the Caliber, right? When the playtest dropped, we all wanted to okay, heck everything. Here we go, playtest. But there's this thing hanging that we didn't get to finish. And I know on the PC side, we knew that Greg had a new job, Mal had school things, and now Emmy has got a new job as well. So I will miss Necros, and my first thought was to play him again. But I realized a couple of things. First, narratively, I don't think he ever made any sense in Rise of the Runelords. Yes, the Hold of Belkzen is right over here from Varizia, but he kind of I feel like I didn't know how to make a character for a game so much as I knew how to make the character I wanted to make at that time. So here's going to be big, ugly orky boy with Death Cat. Never it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think I fit, but I never fit, right? And then on the other side of that, I realized that if the whole squad is going a Nualia hunting, that was always Necros was despoiler of nature, drop everything and kill her. Followed immediately by his loyalty to Emmy and Magpie. So they would like it would probably take quite a bit to pull him away. So in his place, I thought about like how Kane is doing a tie-in to his character. I thought about hashtag green faithing, as I want to do and play, because I had like 5 alts brewed up, but I feel like I've done that too much. And I've never played a brawler before. So if you don't know what that is in Pathfinder, a brawler is a class that a certain number of times per day can change its combat feats around as various kinds of actions. I'm not looking at it right now, but it's something along the lines.
It's homework the class is what it is.
No, homework the class is the wizard. The wizard.
I beg to differ if you're switching feat trees around.
Yeah,
all the time.
and the Arcanist is like algebra homework the class.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Kane wins. But like the brawler only chooses from the combat feats, and I'm gonna look through all of them. And part of the reason I want to play this class is because, like, I play Pathfinder pretty much for a living now. It does not represent 100% of my income. It represents a sizable portion. I'm pretty curious to see if I actually know this game well enough to say that. And playing the brawler, who is a martial class at a level in a world where that makes me wrong for playing him and bad, because my will save is horrible, Adam, for your reference. Target my will save.
Inter-party conflict.
The inter-party conflict when you dominate me and I came and throat slice or somebody. But as far as his far as his backstory goes, he is, like I said, Necros never really fit, because if you look up any guide for Rise of the Runelords and character motivation, it's you like Sandpoint. Period. End of story, forever and ever. So Skoros is Verizian. His parents are Verizian. I've been reading a bunch of guides and stuff. I didn't realize how Chelish most of Verizia, like in terms of the settled places, are. So I'm leaving a lot of it open for Adam's sake. Skoros' parents are, like, they were from a traditional Verizian caravan. If you don't know what that means, the Romani. We are traveling fortune tellers and tellers of tales and things of that nature. And for some reason, Skoros' mom and dad had to settle in Sandpoint and leave the caravan. And they have this kid who ends up being kind of a problem child. They're not exactly 100% sure as... Hang on. Sorry, I am super gross. As to the why of it, but like he picks a lot of fights as a kid. His first response to most things is punch it. So as he gets a little older and causes a little more of a ruckus, they send him to some kind of, I don't know if it exists in Verizia, but some kind of like military academy to combination straighten him out. And like, he's obviously good at this. And so he is. And so Skoros learns how to fight a little better and how to think tactically, but doesn't like it because he knows his like culture and the desire to be under the stars of Desna and wandering the open road and stuff. And also he would rather stay up late drinking and get up at the crack of noon. So he drops out, leaves, sticks to one of the caravans. Come to find out, the kind of half-working reason I have right now for why he would drop his actual last name, which I don't have, and replace it with of Sandpoint would be because like he learns that his family have fallen on the wrong side of the Evil Thieves Guild of the Verizians, the Zarni, or something like that, or maybe he figures out a thing and Adam can brew that up. So he drops his last name and begins traveling the caravans as Skoros of Sandpoint. It isn't long before like he gets that kind of stereotypical adventure-y, need helpy, kill 1d4 ogres kind of quest. And he's not like, he doesn't like to fight at this point. He's kind of got the youth beaten out of him, but he's good at it. So that's how he makes his money and his like name and reputation traveling all across Aviston, basically bouncing from caravan to caravan. If there's a problem, I'll solve it, as long as that solving it means you need it punched. At some point, I'm not sure when or how, and I need to further coordinate this with Alex, because I know Alex is playing a shaman, so if he has fortune, I don't necessarily want my Auspice Auspice animal companion to have the luck domain, because it kind of overlaps. But at some point, and he's always been a very, very Desnan character, wearing the like, as a Verizian, he has a bunch of like tattoos and stuff all over him. A lot of them are very Desnan and themed. His all the Varisians have a birth tattoo, which starts as a birthmark and then turns into something, his or a pair of star knives on the back of his hands for punching with pain. At some point, something happens, and he is maybe not necessarily chosen by Desna. He's not like a cleric or something, but he gains her good favor in the form of a Falcon Auspice companion, and then learns between here and there that Sandpoint needs help, and so he turns around and goes back up the caravan trail. There was some talk with the rest of the BDG crew about meeting between the years of travel and then bringing all of us back up to Sandpoint, because why else would people want to go to the back end of nowhere, right? Hmm. I have a couple of build questions also, but I think those can be handled off screen probably.
Okay. All right. So that means Jason is next, followed by Levi, because Jason and Levi have given me pictures. So Jason,
I gave you a picture.
Ross did too.
Where?
It's in the Discord.
Yeah,
I gave it to you early. Yeah, I'm above Jason.
Where?
I like how Levi is using the same art that Connor did for Gareth in A House Divided. Neat.
Yeah. Oh, I put in Dwarf Wizard.
That is what
I've
that
got
is.
the wrong art on the wrong thing. So, Jason, I will get your art fixed in a second.
Oh, whoops.
But go ahead and tell your person, and then we will go to... Let me see. Yep. We will go to Jason, then Ross, then Levi. Because that's the order I got the pictures in. Except for me already saying Jason.
Yeah, except for it wasn't at all.
Yeah. Don't. I can veto any build. I'm just saying.
I really got to poke at you now before you
not entirely, or at all. Okay, I will be playing a elf investigator because I'm a very curious type guy. His name is Kellery. Technically, it's Kilori, but hey, you quick-lived creatures can't, be bothered to learn anything else. So, he is a basically traveler searching for information on anything and everything. He goes about. He is a doctor and has skills in that. So he runs his own little portable medicine wagon, traveling doctor, and that, of course, gets him access to various people, especially with books. So he, everyone needs a good alchemical healer. And the investigator, for those of y'all who do not know, is a hybrid class. It's a rogue alchemist hybrid, or as I like to say, he's a rogue with a chemistry set.
That is literally how you said the description for Trin when we did the package.
Yes.
Rogue with a chemistry set.
I mean, that is investigator.
Mm-hmm.
Works well. Works amazingly well.
I think the class is really underrated. I'm not going to lie.
I like the flavor of it. Just the flavor and the mechanics of it is, of course, it's a hybrid. It's got good both.
When in doubt, throw a D6 at something.
And
the more doubt, the more D6s.
But basically, the way I see him fitting into the party is at some point he will have run across y'all. And, either he may have even run across the circus because, he could travel with Varisians, he could travel with, just about anybody. So,
fair enough.
And if it looks like you're going to be doing interesting things, he would love to learn if there's anything to learn around you.
Okay.
Well, when you say you want to learn things and Varisia comes to mind, I can't not help but think the last word in Rise of the Runelords and their powerful, unique magic.
Who knows? They might have some interesting formula laying around.
I would not doubt it. All right. So let me see. I said we were going to do... If Jason is done, we'll go to Ross, because he did send me a picture.
I wasn't gone that long. How did I miss all of Jason?
He
quick. Doesn't have much of his story. Well, he's pretty quick.
Jason is a man of few words, but a man of good RP. I've told when I was selling this party to the IOPC guys, and I'll say it for the people in on YouTube, because this episode of the package has yet to go live, because I have a lot of back live play to edit. Jason is the kind of man who will play a class that needs two hands to perform what it's doing, then willingly and immediately, when he's bit by a werewolf, have one of his arms removed, despite how mechanically it will hamper him, because it was the right character decision to make. Ergo, the man has real good RP.
I really didn't want to howl at the moon.
That's fair. That's very
Just get
fair.
a prosthetic.
At least not on YouTube.
They were mid dungeon, with no way of getting out of said dungeon. It was Resident Evil 1. They were in the mansion. If
We're
that
living in
means
the
anything to anyone.
Fantasyland Hotel. Somebody can make you a magic golem hand.
But first, he had to survive the dungeon, and there
Yeah.
was with someone whose all of their damage is shut off because they were special werewolves, and then like one rogue having to solo all the things.
Ugh.
All right. Well,
Hey, but I killed something with a perfume bottle.
You did. It was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
all right. So, Ross, what are you bringing to the table?
Hello. My character would be Roy Verdun. He is a human exalted cleric of Sarenrae, using the exalted prestige class, of course. And he was born in Taldor. Backstory there, he had a stepfather that was a cleric of Sarenrae, grew up in the faith, and then eventually pilgrimed out to one of the major holy temples of Sarenrae. I don't exactly have which one set up yet, and I was going to talk to you about that, Adam, and also kind of Tommy, to figure out what would be the most convenient one for mixing backstories, to get a good solid reason for him going up to Sandpoint. And along the way there was a demon attack on the temple he was in, and that was the event that eventually led to him becoming an exalted, which, if you don't know, basically means that, for one thing, he has a mark. For him, it's on his hand that was given to him by Sarenrae herself. So he is seen as a particularly powerful user of divine magic. If he's a divine pyromancer by build, I used the Ecclesia Thurge archetype, so that way I could prepare fireballs with my main spells. No single-use fireball. I can have as many as I want. And, flip side to that is now the GM just needs to throw things that are resistant to fire at me. Yay! But I digress. Spent a lot of time in the Empire. Actually ended up in the Emperor's court for a while. Before eventually, he had a bit of falling out with some members in the court, specifically those from Kadiria, and especially those with the Cult of the Dawnflower, which is one of the few groups that he has actively voiced his distaste for, because he is pretty humble. With that in mind, he proceeded to leave the Empire and decided he was going to go and find his own place to set up a church to Sarenrae. And that's kind of where I was expecting to jump into Tommy's character, who was going to tell him about the events of what was going on at Sandpoint, and he was going to be, concerned for the safety of the people there and everything. And for those who, Sarenrae and Desna are good friends in the Pathfinder Pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
That they are.
Well, I mean, Sarenrae was willing to go and get her out of trouble when she went to go and rescue one of her exalted individuals out of hell.
And that's what I like. How I'm going to roleplay Skoros too. I think his Capena, his Verizian magic scarf that he got from his grandpa, who may or may not still be maybe an Azamar who's still alive. So the age gap is weird in terms of aging, and grandpa gives this to grandson when grandson comes out, but his Capena is all just butterfly winged angels and Azadas just hecking on demons. And I'm going to kind of play him. When I talked to my artist, I said CG swagger was what I wanted. And that's the idea. I'm like, there is a problem. We go punch it. What? Desna did it. Be brave. Everyone needs our help.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm more NG, but I'll still go and help.
You
Also,
fix
I
me
imagine,
after.
I also imagine I was going to be the voice of the reason of the group in the Diplomat, as I am walking in with a plus 22 to diplomacy.
Yeah.
Because
plus 22 to
Tough ratios
diplomacy,
creepy.
and then plenty of fireballs. Yeah, I told everybody, this is an AP. You don't have to
I didn't
min-max
even
or
build
heavy
all that
build.
crazy. I just thought it was fun. I
My
did
man,
the
he's
deploy-
using fireballs. Everything will resist it. You're fine. You're so fine.
Yeah,
We'll see. I've
Besides,
seen the
worst
whole
element.
AP.
I did the diplomacy thing for RP. You know,
And even then, a 22 diplomacy doesn't break anything. It just means that our
It just
our
means that you could
off-combat
crit at a
times will go
42.
faster.
That's all.
Yeah, which the number, if it was DC 20, he's killing it by a mile anyway.
So
It's not like how's he going to weaponize it in combat? The antagonized feat is how you're going to weaponize it in combat for us.
yeah, but I
actually.
think that goes
Shut up.
against. I think
Okay.
that might go against the code of humility, though.
No, yeah,
Which
you're not
would-
showing
I would-
respect to others if you're insulting them with your diplomacy.
Yeah, and that would make me lose a 5 off my diplomacy.
Spartan, do that
oh
one.
wow, a 5 off of a
Plus 5,
20-something
yeah.
buff. Okay. All right. Any more notes?
Hey man, that's a lot. That's
Uh,
the only.
That's
the
like
only
nearly
thing
a
I'm
fourth
walking
of it.
Yeah, the only thing I'm walking in with a better than a plus 20 in it is escape artist.
And your attack rolls, barbarian.
Well, yeah, but that's.
How'd you pick your weapon yet, Kane?
It's a great club, but it's actually just a barbell.
I was gonna say I think it would be cool if both of the marshals are just like punching things, and the barbarian can certainly do that. But somehow the notion of you just bringing a barbell and just whack into somebody is somehow much better.
Yeah.
All right. Any more notes for your character, Ross?
I was. The only other thing I was really thinking about that was going to be anything kind of interesting was that I was really hoping to kind of just get into funny situations where I feel like I'm the diplomat between multiple members of the party, like the CG start going at each other's throats because they're different. They're arguing about what way to see the G, and I'm just here like, okay, settle down, children,
Do
settle
we
down.
chaos the good or do we good the chaos?
We
Yeah,
good
yeah,
the chaos.
Do we do it
No, we
chaos
gotta
good,
chaos
or do we
the
do
good.
it good chaos? You know, is it chaotically good chaos, or is it good chaos chaotically?
Is it lawful evil or is it evil lawful? I mean...
Well,
That
Maze
moment
is
when-
not in the party anymore. We don't have to worry about that now.
Yeah, that moment when you realize that Saren Ray doesn't even consider Asmodeus an enemy of hers.
Well, yeah, but they've worked together a bunch.
Asmodeus
They
is
have
a
secrets-
funny god. I like
Secrets
Asmodeus.
together with Rovagug.
Well, lawful
Yeah, well,
evil
everybody
is...
hates Rovagug.
Yeah,
Rovagug hates Rovagug.
Yeah,
I
Rovagug
hate
will...
me.
The game I was
Rovagug
in
wants
once
to eat
had
the
a
universe.
running rumor about a tryst between Sarad Ray and Asmodeus.
A
Let's-
twist?
A tryst.
Tryst with an R.
The heck is a tryst?
And a Y.
That means they like to
Scandal.
have sexuals together.
They did the naughty.
Oh,
They did the
Oh.
celestial naughty.
okay, yeah, no. No more information needed. Oh, okay.
Blasphemous! All right.
Now I'm just curious what demigod
They did
would
the
come out of that.
horizontal Gregorian chant.
Okay, then, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
I believe the proper music goes something like ba chicka bow wow. wow.
Does this mean that You know, we just now need some sort of like crazy cleric of Caden, a female cleric of Caden, to do the reverse to me and like Tommy's character as Caden does to Saren Ray and Desna, just for the laughs.
Just constantly try to get with it. Hey, that's how they made a Kyrgyz.
Isn't that? Well, yeah, and there's also Caden and Callistria, because Callistria's always leading Caden on, isn't it?
Yeah, she never
Yeah,
actually
Caden goes
does
up
anything
after
with
Saren
him.
Ray.
She
Caden's
just-
hounded after every goddess.
Yeah,
That's what
can you
happens
blame
when
him?
a drunk, horny dickhead becomes a god.
yeah.
I mean, can you blame him? he's gonna live
I love
forever.
Caden. He's one of my favorite gods.
Yeah, he's gonna live forever, and it's not like he's gonna. Gods don't get into committed relationships in most
And he made
pantheistic
sure his
gods. So.
demigod son lived. You know.
Yeah.
It seemed to be a good father.
Yeah, well, at least he cares about the everyman type thing. He's the everyman god. All right, that's not about Ross's character, though. So,
we didn't go into the idea that Desna and Sarenrae could have actually been more than friends. That was something I was reading in some of the wiki pages, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for Desna, because Desna's really open about, like, everything.
About, like, everything. That's the appropriate way to sum up Desna. She's really open about everything.
As far as relationships go, yeah, pretty much.
How open is open? Open.
I mean, like, open. No, not like Zeus open, but, like, open.
I don't know.
Zeus was not open. Zeus was very direct.
Zeus was
everyone else.
Zeus wasn't open. Zeus was bust down the door.
Yeah.
Zeus would open the door.
Yeah, let's be honest. He was bust down the door.
He would bust down the door and not with his hands. All right, next character.
Oh my god.
So, Levi.
We're gonna have fun with Ross.
Oh god, yes, more. Hi,
what are
Levi.
you bringing?
Brassut Runemain. I would do an accent if I felt like I could as a person.
Don't worry, it doesn't matter if you can or can't. You can do an accent.
Just do a harmonica motif.
And for the record, you can in fact do a voice. I feel like sometimes, like with me when we played Starfinder for like all of 2 sessions, you got to commit to it. You got to just run at that wall, get behind the wheel of the car, and don't crash.
My problem is like staying committed to it because my voice will shift through accents.
That's why I have that. I shifted accents like 4 times.
Oh, that's why I can't do it either.
Or I could just talk normal and not feel self-conscious about my accent the whole time. And it be
that's
good.
fair too.
Well, just remember, you will always feel self-conscious about your accent, regardless of whether you're doing it or not, until you do it. Anyway, you do not have to do an accent.
Strictly less so. Alright, so I have to, just so you guys know, dealing with, being in these YouTube channels is, all of my introduction to Galarian.
Got you back, son.
Yeah, kind of the same here.
That's fine. I edit the audio for Tommy. I still don't know dick about Galarian.
There you go.
So, when it comes to all this...
Okay.
So, actually knowing locations and what happens where and whatnot isn't something I've super got down, but I know a couple things. I'm an arcane crafter wizard. I have a low monkey who helps me make my magic items. I have 6 charisma, so he's more likable than me.
Well,
I don't know the monkey's name. I'm horrible with names. I decided my name while you other people were talking.
Well, it would be really funny if the dwarf didn't even know the monkey's name. He just calls him Monkey.
Hey, Monkey! Make me ring of protection!
We can talk, and I've asked him his name before, and he doesn't say it.
He just says, "What's your name, man? You think I'm gonna answer you?" He's got a smoker's voice because of all the being around the forge smoke, So
yeah,
he's got smoker's lung.
Yeah, being around the forge.
I've got a smoker's lung.
Now you have to do a voice. No, don't do a voice. Adam can edit it in post. Edit the
Hi guys. You ain't never seen a monkey make a magic ring before.
Okay, but I've got to say, I will be crafting magic items so quickly. It's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be beautiful. I've got that, and I've got contracts, and that's all I really care about mechanically. I really like playing the overly literal, socially inept character, so expect that to come up a lot.
So you're going to cross 2.0. Neat.
Maybe.
He was very, if you said something that didn't make sense or was any kind of obfuscated at all, I would just, immediately yell at you about it. Because, when the Kitsune and the Tengu were in a relationship, no, that doesn't work. No, why? Why are you doing that? And then, when I met our witch...
There's no biological benefit to this action.
And the first words the witch ever said to me is just, "Where's my soup?" And my whole RP on Waco forever and ever was, "I do not serve soup." It was good.
If we ever meet Magpie and all of the older characters, we are all just going to have like a field day picking at Magpie and his wife, just being like, "How does this work?"
It's
It doesn't have
amazing.
to.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and more importantly, I don't have to explain shit to you.
You, because you're apparently having issues with your private area that could be responsible for sexually transmitted diseases. So now
No,
I need to
It was
know.
an egg. It was fine. I delivered it myself. I was there.
It's true. I
We fell
was.
asleep.
You're a male.
I did not fall asleep. I fainted.
You're
I
a
was
male.
trying to be nice, Magpie.
There's nothing wrong with being emotionally overwhelmed.
Yes, there is. Your wife needed you.
I was there in spirit, if not in body.
You passed
I
out in
was
the
there in
living
body.
room, and I was forced to do the delivery for you.
No, he passed out in an elf city, and they had to let me out of prison so I could do a delivery.
Oh, I'm talking about the second one, not the first. How do you do this multiple times?
Oh, there's no multiples.
Well, stick with us. We'll do it multiple times. We'll see.
No, we're not going to roll those dice again.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do it
Emotionally
multiple times. The dice just aren't gonna come out. That's
the dice
Yeah.
ain't coming out.
So,
And
Man,
then,
Okay,
it doesn't
give me
work.
back
Stop
my,
it.
but
That can't
what the
be
hell
true.
is your child?
Oh, my goddess.
it is the
Really?
divine spark of transition in the overarching thing that was happening in my homebrew world. But that's not what's going on with Levi. So Levi's character is literal, cares about contracts, crafting, and has a monkey that's more personable than him. Ergo, the monkey is the face of his money-making operation, I guess.
I think
Yeah.
Sporos will get along with the monkey just fine.
Part of the reason I gave that introduction of me not understanding Galarion is I also don't understand Sandpoint, and I haven't decided exactly how to tie myself into the location.
The
Well,
monkey likes it.
I've got the document open, and I've read it some, but I need to read it more.
The easiest way to do that, probably, because it sounds like a lot of us are from very far away, is I was assuming I would meet Ross's character somewhere in Taldor, and Taldor is not far from Casmeron, so I could have just gone to the circus, and there's like a big line of like, doop, 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 here's Kane, here's us, and boop, and then boop, 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 Sandpoint. At some point, we've all met.
Yeah, I was thinking we could have met up in like Taldor, Kalesh, and everything, and that's around the point where you were like, I need to go back to Sandpoint, and I would be like, what's Sandpoint? And you'd be like, my home. It's like, oh, why? And there's like bad things happening. Bad things? Bad things. Temple of
Desna calls us to
Sarenrae?
circus.
Temple of Sarenrae. Temple of Sarenrae and Desna? Yes. Yes.
If I remember
Oh.
correctly, Sandpoint has a bunch of standing stones, which, like, that's the Temple of Desna there.
Both?
I think.
Yeah.
I forget.
Temple of Sarenrae? Temple of Desna. Both? Both. Both is good.
Both is good.
They like each other. They're fine. They can cohabitate. So,
And more importantly, I have to realize, I just realized now, a human, and a halfling, a human, an elf, a dwarf. We don't know what Alex is playing, but it looks like 5 out of 6 of us are going to be core race,
Huh.
which is much different than how the last Runelords went, as Siltha, Tengu, Kitsune, and Orc, and 2 humans.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like the start of a bad joke.
And a tiefling.
Yeah, but we have a halfling, a dwarf, an elf, a human. If we have like another halfling, we're basically just the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah,
We
pretty much.
really are.
dun.
Then that brings up the question of which one is Frodo and which one is the good character.
Burn.
I call Samwise because I'm not a punt.
Levi's monkey can be Pippin. It would be great.
Yes.
So, where are we going?
It did have like 10, 11 intelligence at that point.
Yeah, it has
Wait,
10.
does that make me Gandalf?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No.
'Cause I'm the one
Okay,
with
wait,
Levi's-
no.
Levi's
Gandalf
Gandalf.
OP. Nerf Gandalf.
Nerf Gandalf.
I'm out.
Dude, he XP steals, he solos the boss monsters, gains all the XP.
Well, you are talking to the party's full caster, so
He's
yes, he does solo
secretly,
himself.
literally a god.
I mean, Levi is also a full caster.
Well, technically,
He's not,
he's
he has
just
rogue
a
levels.
spirit. So
No, I don't. I thought about taking
He's
rogue
like a-
levels, but I do
He's
not.
like a Tolkien
Are you just
version
full
of
wizard?
an archangel.
I am full wizard.
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, no, I
so
think
many
he just went
powerful classes.
hardcore on item creation.
Because I love crafters too much
No,
as a
that's
person.
fine. Did you
Makes
take
sense.
the Arcane Physician archetype?
I think he's
What's
just
that?
a wizard. So.
I'm
It's
just a wizard.
Oh, it's an archetype that just makes it that way instead of like a scroll or scribe scroll at first level. You get brew potion and you get access to all the healing spells on the healing school for the alchemist for you to be able to make magic items with.
Mhm.
So it would allow a wizard to make a wand to cure light wounds and use it without a use magic device check.
While that sounds better mechanically, I don't know. It feels too friendly.
I mean, you also have you have a
feels
cleric.
different.
You have a cleric.
Yeah, that's what
too.
you're the healer. We'll hug you, and you'll make us feel better inside. It's fine.
I
And
mean,
you
yeah,
will sign a
monkey and
contract
his
and give
pet
me a drop
dwarf
of your
be
blood.
horrible.
I mean, yeah. If
Mhm.
you just, like, heck, if you
No,
just
it's only so I know if you broke the contract. I can show you the spell.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oath
All right.
Mind.
I mean, I would also accept a brewer. You know, rubbing alcohol for outside wounds, drinking alcohol for inside wounds.
Yeah,
He did the wax on, wax off thing with that.
Wax
Inside
on, wax-
wounds, outside wounds.
Now you're making me think of the brewmaster.
Physical numbness,
speech classes.
emotional numbness.
All right.
Become a cleric. Just become a cleric of Caden that goes into brewmaster.
I had a
Alright.
player who was a dwarven druid brewer
Mm.
who like made mead by like controlling bees and like getting them to make the best honey.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
That's amazing.
And that is how you
Easy.
build an economy realistically in your D&D game.
That sounds like a druid I could actually enjoy.
Stump
You mean you
good.
didn't enjoy Francis Root and Oleg?
Not as much as I could have.
Oleg's brew.
Fair enough.
Stump was a good guy.
All right.
Stump.
I think.
Stump is the perfect name for a dwarven druid.
All right.
Yeah.
We're branching away from what we're supposed to be talking about, which means we are going to wrap it up, people. All right.
Also, Alex is playing a shaman.
Yeah. He's playing a shaman, so that should be fun.
We got those 3 full casters again.
Ooh.
All right. Well, thank you, travelers, for stopping by. Have a great day. God bless and enjoy. And all this was brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Bye.
Do you feel like PBS would get upset if we stole their logo?
We will fight them.